Hey everybody! So here we're going to talk about macroeconomics basis from A to Z. This is lecture 2, part 3, and where we are going to talk everything about macroeconomics, right? So we have already discussed about what macroeconomics and economics is. First sector, that is household sector, it's for FOPs, factors of production, and now we're talking about firms. All right. So firms, what are firms? So firms are the production units and which are non-organic institutions, and they're engaged in using intermediate goods and capital goods for the further production of goods and services. Now, what are intermediate goods? So we have already discussed what intermediate goods is in lecture 2 part 1 in detail. Now, what are intermediate goods? So these are the goods which has not yet crossed the boundary line of production and is resold or as used as a raw material for the production of other goods. And so these goods are used to further produce other goods, and goods get exhausted while the production of other goods and services completely, right? Now, what are capital goods? So we have already discussed it already in lecture number 2 part 2, but let's talk about, and part 1 as well. But thoda sa let's talk about. So what are capital goods? So capital goods are those goods which are used in the process of production and are of high value. So these are the fixed assets of the producer and also involve depreciation. For example, machinery. These goods are used to further produce other goods and services in the long run, which is equal to more than 1 year. um, all right. और फिर जो फर्म्स है वो मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन करती है इन्वेस्टमेंट में थ्रू बिजनेस फिक्स इन्वेस्टमेंट, जो हम पढ़ेंगे नेशनल इनकम अकाउंटिंग के एक्सपेंडिचर मेथड के अंदर इन फॉर द क्लासेस. सो फर्म्स जो होती है वो ऑल्सो कंट्रीब्यूट करती है किसमें, इन्वेंट्री इन्वेस्टमेंट में एंड चेंज इन स्टॉक में. अब चेंज इन स्टॉक में कैसे करती है? चेंजिंग स्टॉक ऑफ फिनिश गुड्स में करती है, सेमी फिनिश गुड्स में करती है, रॉ मटेरियल प्रेशियस स्टोन्स एंड चेंज इन लाइफ स्टॉक में करती है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैमल्स एंड एक्सेट्रा. नाउ व्हाट इज चेंज इन स्टॉक? इट इज क्लोजिंग स्टॉक माइनस ओपनिंग स्टॉक. For example, if we have to talk about the change in stock of the year 2024-25, so we're going to talk about the closing stock of 31st of March 2025 minus opening stock on 1st of April 2024. Alright, now same problem has been faced by India. So people thought that government will provide incentives to innovate, right? ताकि जब हम ज़्यादा इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, पर तो गवर्नमेंट का इंसेंटिव क्या होगा कि लोगों की लाइफ को अपग्रेड करे, तो हम ये कर सकते हैं. लेकिन जो गवर्नमेंट है वो एक इंस्टीट्यूशन है जो ह्यूमंस ने बनाया है, एंड इट इज़ नॉट ह्यूमन. ठीक है, क्योंकि किसी और का पैसा जा रहा है तो कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. तो गवर्नमेंट ज़्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करता नहीं है, ज़्यादा इनोवेशन होता नहीं है, एंड इनोवेशन इज़ द प्रॉब्लम इन इंडिया. Alright, now let's talk about the third sector of the economy, which is general government sector. Alright, so all the institutions which are engaged in the activities of general governance, जो generally governance करते हैं वो सब government sectors के अंदर include होते हैं. It includes all the sectors of government, that is central, provincial and local government. ठीक है, central, state and local. जो government है वो purchase करती है consumer goods को भी, और which is government final consumption expenditure, and प्रोड्यूसर गुड्स को भी. जो गवर्नमेंट से वो एम्प्लॉयमेंट देती है लैंड, लेबर, कैपिटल को, और इसके अलावा जो एंटरप्रेन्योर्स है उनको सिक्योरिटी ऑफ प्रॉपर्टी देती है. वो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन करके लॉज बनाए हुए हैं, प्रॉपर्टी लॉज, वेल डिफाइंड प्रॉपर्टी लॉज. और इसके अलावा वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट भी करती है किसके साथ? एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के साथ, यानी जुडिशरी की. मेरा किसी ने अगर वायलेट किया उसको तो जो गवर्नमेंट है वो प्रॉफिट नहीं बनाती, पर इन सारी चीज़ों का ध्यान रखती है. और जो पब्लिक सेक्टर इंटरप्राइजेस होते हैं, PSUs, PSEs, वो गवर्नमेंट नहीं होती. दीज आर द इंडस्ट्रीज और फर्म्स विच आर ओन्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट, नॉट इंडस्ट्रीज, कंपनीज, राइट? Now, okay, so if I ask you a question, what ChatGPT asked me, is providing free electricity a government expenditure or a transfer payment? So what is the difference? So anything which yields in return, which leads to productivity, is involved in government expenditure. For example, salary of teachers, and construction of roads, schools, houses. So all these are government expenditure because it yields something in return. But providing free electricity, subsidies, pensions which does not yield anything in return are known as transfer payments by the government, which is not involved in the estimation of national income, whereas government expenditures are involved in the estimation of national income. Now let's talk about the last but not the least sector, that is external sector. So external sector is exports minus imports or net imports. Sorry, exports minus imports or net exports. So it includes all the sectors which are outside the domestic territory of an economy. Now let's talk about what do we mean by the domestic territory of an economy. So which is more than just the political and the geographical boundaries. All right. Give me a second. So all the territorial waters, I'll tell you. Yeah, so all the territorial waters till 12 nautical miles, which is 22.2 kilometers, is a part of the domestic, oh fuck, is a part of the domestic territory of the nation. All right. फिर जो all the ships है, aircrafts है ना, which are operated by the residents of the country between two or more than two countries, are the part of the domestic territory of the nation. Now, what are the residents here? The companies whose headquarters lie in our country, right? Fishing vessels, all the oil, natural gas rings, floating platforms which are operated by the residents of the country in international waters, is also by और ये जो international waters के अंदर जो domestic territory है, तो only exploration sites are included, not refinery sites. All the embassies and the military establishments of the country abroad are also the part of domestic territory. Now, what are not the part of domestic territory? So all the international organizations like WHO, or let's say IMF, यूनेस्को, यूनाइटेड नेशंस, तो ये सारा जो है ये इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इंटरनेशनल एरिया के रेजिडेंट्स हैं, एंड दीज आर नॉट द पार्ट ऑफ द डोमेस्टिक टेरिटरी of our nation. And all the foreign enterprises which are located in our country are also not the part of our nation. For example, Amazon India is the part of US, because its headquarters lie there. And Hyundai's plant, which is in China, so it's domestic, it will be the domestic territory of South Korea, right? And domestic territory, why would it be? Because domestic territory is based on residency and not on the places on, and not where it is located, right? So this leads to one thing, ki what is residency and what are residents, and what is who is a normal residence. The normal resident would be one whose economic interest lies within the country, that is consumption, production, exchange, distribution, investment lies within the country, right? For example, Akshay Kumar and Alia Bhatt and me, but Alia Bhatt has a citizenship of United Kingdom, but she lives here and she earns here, she consumes here, so she would be the resident of our nation, and who has been living in the country for more than a year. ठीक है, so who ordinarily resides in the country concerned for more than 1 year. Okay, so now all the individual and institutions residing in the country for more than 1 year and satisfy these two things are the normal residents. So residents जो है वो सिर्फ people नहीं होते, so people and firms are different, and firm can also become an entity, institutions, right? Citizens, all the nationals and non-national citizens, for example Alia Bhatt can also be resident if they satisfy the following two conditions, above two conditions. Local employees which are working in foreign embassies which is located in their country, but वो इंडिया में काम करे, जैसे अमेजॉन इंडिया के जो काम है लोग हैं वो इंडिया में काम करें, तो दे विल बी द रेजिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया. इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन WTO, IMF, World Bank are not the residents of the country. They will be the residents of the international area because they are not the residents of any country, but the residents, people working in the IMF of India, are the residents of India. All right. All right. That is it for external sector of an economy. Okay. Now I would like to tell you one more thing. So all the rules which are related to national income aggregates, its measurement, definition, accounting, are included in the system of national accounting, national income accounts SNA, which is given by United Nations organizations, and the current rules that we follow are from SNA, System of National Income Accounts, 2008. All right. Thank you. In the next video we will be talking about the circular flow of an economy.